go to the busier part.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, you can say if I can hold it for you or whatever.
Just throw it over here.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm a crazy dog mom, so I brought a harness and water
and everything. Planning for everything. All right. So what we're gonna do here is go ahead and get your remote ready.
Okay.
And what's it set at the moment?
0, nothing.
0? Okay, go ahead and
not tested it on her.
let's go ahead and bump that to 10.
Okay.
So most dogs tend to feel it around 15.
Okay.
I'm not sorry, most. That's typically where dogs begin to feel it. So when I say tap, you're gonna press that bumpy button on the side, right? And we're gonna look at Luna here and tap, 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 tap. So you see how she's just still sniffing?
Not even.
Yeah,
15.
so 15.
Okay.
Tap, 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 nothing. 20. Tap, 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 nothing. 25.
Okay. Tap.
Yep, and then go ahead and hold still. Tap, 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 tap. Good, nothing. 30. Tap, 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 tap. I can see the twitch. You see it? Tap,
Yeah.
tap. So it's very subtle, but you see how she's like not phased?
Right.
Right? 35. So that's the connection level. We have connection now. Now we need perception. So tap, 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 tap. 40. And this is all normal, by the way.
Okay.
Tap, 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 tap. 45.
Okay.
Tap, 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 tap. 50. Tap, tap, tap. So you can see the little jump there, right? But she's still looking, right? She's not phased. 55.
I'm not commanding her. I am just
Correct.
tapping.
Yes. Tap. There we go. So you see that big movement there.
Huge.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's 55, right?
55.
Let's go down to 45.
Okay.
And if you land on 44, 46 or whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. I got it. On the dot.
Yeah. Tap, tap, tap. So back to nothing. 50.
Okay.
Tap, tap, tap. 55. Tap, tap. So you see how he lost contact? So we're probably a notch or two still loose. Let's go ahead and tighten it up again. Okie dokie. We're at 55, right? Let's go down to 25. Tap, tap, tap. 30. Tap, tap, tap. 35. Tap, tap, tap. 40.
So could she feel this at all, or is she just ignoring
No,
it?
if there's no twitch, there's no contact.
No contact.
Yeah,
Okay.
40. Tap, 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 tap. 45. And again, all normal stuff. Tap.
Okay, you just kind of...
Yeah, tap, tap. Okay, I see the twitch now. 50. So it's right there at the base of her chest. Tap, tap, tap. 55. Tap, tap, tap. 60.
Oh, sorry, should I not have done that?
What? The up? Oh no, you're fine.
You're gonna have to retrain me.
Tap. I retrain a lot of my clients. Tap, tap. 65. Tap, tap, tap. 73. Tap, tap, tap. 81. Tap. There it is, right?
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
You're fine. Tap, 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 and keep still. Tap, tap, tap. So you see how we lost contact again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put the collar on myself here.
Okay.
When she shook her head, that's what made the shift. This is one con to the collar. Once you get used to it, it's not.
Stay. Stay. Luna, stay.
You don't have a different collar?
I have another one, but it's at home, and then I have a
This one's way too loose.
Okay.
She's gonna fuck that up. You don't want to talk to her.
Okay.
Because you actually, when you stimulate the mind, it incites more panic. So the whole time when she's flipping out, I didn't say a thing. I just kept hold of her. Because if I let go or start to use sound to console her,
Okay.
it actually goes opposite of what you're trying to create.
Okay.
So you have to let her settle and ride through that so that she learns not acceptable response. Not in the sense of being bad, but in the sense of it's not going to get her.
Yeah.
So what I've done here,
She made it. She made
made a
it
little bit
very
of a
clear
slip.
that she did not have any money.
because we do not want her bucking out of this collar. We'll start off with this, as long as everything's going fine. We'll remove this, we can go back to this.
Okay.
But she's definitely gonna, I don't like these style collars
Okay.
because of this. This can actually break. Yeah, these, I've had dogs break out.
Yeah.
You want a like belt buckle type of collar.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Like,
That's her, yeah.
like this
she's
one.
got one of those. Okay.
Yeah, so you want one like this style of collar.
Okay.
Because these will break, and obviously what happens is they get worn, and then the fabric starts to stretch, and that's why it goes back to
That's
this.
why, okay.
And then they'll fix it, and then it's stretched.
And then, yeah, because I am kind of constantly tightening that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Yep, we'll try that again. Let's go back down to 25. Ooh, she got good. And tap. 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 30. I'm pretty sure she's already feeling it. Tap. Tap. Yep. Tap. Right, 35. So now we have perception. Now we need working. Tap. Tap. Right. Tap. 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 Right, so you see how she keeps fidgeting around? So we're getting pretty close. Let's try 40. Tap. Tap. 45. Tap. 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 50. So we got a good contraction. We need a little bit more. Tap. 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 Tap, tap, tap. There we go, right there.
Yep.
So you see that quick movement, right? So that's what we call urgency. So we're gonna mess with 50. I think she's gonna be a little bit higher than that.
Okay.
Again, not out the ordinary. We have to account for her fur. We also have to count that she just went under a moment of stress, so her adrenaline levels are gonna be up, okay? As we work with her, that number may dip. I'll of course let you know.
Okay.
But the reason why we want that speed or that fast movement is right off the bat, that's what makes the training effective. Okay, most people want to do things as gently as possible, which I get it,
I'm the worst,
right?
yes.
Which I get it, but you'll be in a bubble forever. You won't make any progress. And right off the bat, we wanted to start making progress and pushing her because she's a dog, right? And dogs are physical, they bite each other, right? They use their mouth, they use their claws and all that stuff. So her mom as a puppy would bully them physically to toughen them up, right? But then when we get our puppies, we're very soft with them and gentle and like sweet and stuff, no discipline. And then they become emotionally weak and physically weak in terms of what they can handle stress-wise, okay? That's just why physicality is so important when done correctly, okay? So what we're gonna do here is a very simple exercise. This is the leash walking exercise, okay? This is what's going to teach Luna how to walk beside you and is gonna be the baseline for us pushing her behaviorally so she doesn't lock up in the car, that if you're walking in a new environment that's busy, that she's not trying to shut down. We need this to happen first before we can do any of that stuff, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate here. This exercise, very simple, okay? I'm gonna relax. There you go. So I train dogs to walk on the left as traditional. You okay with that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Then left is easier, okay? People tend to think it's right. It's
Yeah, I would have
more
said right.
difficult,
Okay,
no.
that's interesting. Yeah.
So with her on your left, it's a very simple exercise, okay? What we're gonna do here is when Luna passes you, you're gonna make always an immediate 180 turn to your right, okay?
Okay.
She passes you, again, immediate 180 turn to
Okay.
your right. So you should stay within the width of the sidewalk if you're doing this correctly, okay? Now when she does pass you, you will also, as you're turning, be remoting, and I will tell you tap.
Okay.
So if I say tap, 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 that would be your rhythm. If I say
Okay.
tap, 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 that would be your rhythm, okay? So you would turn, tap, 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 and you're moving still.
Okay.
And you keep tapping until eventually Luna's here, then we relax.
Okay.
She passes again, tap, 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 she's here, then we relax, okay? We're gonna keep repeating that process. When you do those turns, you wanna make them very quick and keep that momentum because you're trying to get her attention and redirect her to, hey, you're going the wrong way, we're going this way, okay? This is why finding that number is so important because if you're too low, you'll be going back and forth forever. You're not gonna get anywhere, okay? So we find that number, because everybody wants to get out of an uncomfortable situation, right? Nobody likes discomfort.
Yeah.
So we use that to our advantage to motivate her, how do I turn this off? But then you have to direct her on what to do, okay? So most people, when their dog pulls, they'll like correct the dog here or like remote them or hit them with the prong collar and tell them no, like that's a bad thing. And then they'll say heel and the dog is here, okay? It's too complicated for the dog to figure out. Okay. So when we do this for Luna, if I'm Luna, when she's going and she feels this annoying twitch on the side of her neck, it's telling her you're doing the wrong thing, right? And then when you turn around, you're directing her not that way, we're going this way. Okay. So the first one is we're going both the same way, and they're punishing the dog. So when the dog jumps back and they look at the person, they're like, "What was that for?" We're going the same way. Right? That's why it's important to do the 180 turn to the immediate right. Okay? Now coach you all through this.
Okay.
Main thing to remember is keep relaxed, okay? Because if there's any tension in the leash, you're taking up some of the slack, and we already shortened it a little bit.
Okay.
And we want that slack to allow her to make some mistakes, okay? As long as she doesn't buck back too much, then we can start to go back to the normal leash. I just don't want her to slide out of that collar, okay? So I'll have you start here.
And I've got one of the, like the 30 foot.
30 foot? Yeah, we'll need that by class 3 most likely. Okay, but glad that you're prepared already. Is it in the bag?
I'm an A student. It's in the bag.
So whenever you're ready, and actually with your leash here, you see the loop?
Yeah.
That little curve right there? Wrap it around your thumb like this, and then close your hand.
Like this.
That locks your leash. Okay, she cannot rip the leash out of your hand that way. She'd have to rip through your thumb.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll talk more about that as we go along in terms of leash holding. especially if you got a flighty kind of dog, you don't want something to suddenly happen and her pulling the leash out of your hand.
Yeah.
If you wrap the leash around your fingers, I've had people break fingers. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's some little nuances, but for now that's easy, okay? So instead of going forward, I'm gonna have you actually just start going to your immediate right and doing that 180. There you go, and then forward and relax. Now turn, tap, forward, good. Keep forward, tap. Turn, tap, tap, pull to your left, tap, tap, pull to your left. Keep going straight. Turn, tap, forward. Keep that arm down. Keep it down. There you go. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap. Keep forward, keep forward. There you go. Good. Relax, relax that arm. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap. Yeah, keep that arm down right by your waist. So you can lock it so that she doesn't pull you,
Okay.
but you don't want to be dragging her in, okay? What's your number right now?
50.
Let's go to 55. Tap forward, relax. Tap forward, tap, tap, tap. 60.
Certainly not on the hour either.
Careful. Like forward, tap. Keep that arm relaxed. There you go. Keep forward. Turn, tap, tap, forward, tap, tap. Good. Relax that arm. Turn, tap, tap, forward. Good. Whoop. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap. Let's go to 65. Forward, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Keep going, keep going. Turn. Right. Turn. Turn. You got it. Keep that arm relaxed. Let's go down to 45. Turn, tap. 35. To your right. Yep. Tap. Good. Turn. Tap. Forward. Turn. Tap. Turn. Tap. Keep forward. You got it. You got it. Turn. Tap. Tap. Good. Turn. Tap. Tap. Keep that arm relaxed. There you go. Turn. Tap. Tap. Forward. Good. Turn. Tap. Tap. You got it. Forward. Good. Turn. Tap. Tap. Turn. Tap. There we go. You're getting there. Turn. Tap. 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 Forward. There you go. Turn. Tap. Good. Keep forward. Keep forward. You got it. Good. Good. Turn. Tap. 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 Tap, tap, keep forward, tap, 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 tap. Good, good. Turn, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, tap. Good, you got it, relax. Good, turn, tap, tap, tap. Let's go back to 40.
Come on. Nice.
Right? Turn, tap. Forward, good, good, good. You got it. Pull to your left, tap, tap. Keep forward, you got it, good. Turn, tap, tap. Keep that arm relaxed. There you go. Tap forward, tap forward.
Sorry.
You're okay. I know it's, you gotta think right at the last minute when I say something. You're good. Better, better. Turn, tap, forward, tap, tap, forward, tap, tap, forward, tap, tap, forward. There, you're good. Hug a little to the right, tap forward, but keep straight on the sidewalk. There you go. There you go, and relax. There you go. Turn, tap, tap. Good, relax, good. You got it, keep going, you got it, good. Now turn, tap, tap, forward, tap, good. Relax. There you go. You got it. Good. Good. Slow turn. Turn forward. Yep. Tap, 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 tap forward, forward, tap, tap forward. Keep forward. There you go. Good. Like that. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, keep forward. Yep, keep forward. You got it. Now turn. Tap. Forward. Tap. Tap. Relax that arm. There you go. Tap forward, forward, keep straight. There you go. Excellent. Very good, very good. Slow turn. Forward, forward. There you go. Relax that arm. Relax that arm. You're good, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yep, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
Keep forward, tap. Pull to your left, tap. Good, forward. Excellent, now turn. Tap, forward, forward. You got it, relax, relax. Good, good, good. There you go, beautiful, you got it. Turn, tap, tap, good, good. Yep, keep straight, it's okay. You got it, you're doing good, doing good. Go and turn, tap, tap forward, keep that momentum. There you go, pull to the left, tap. You got it, relax that arm. What's our number right now?
41.
Let's go to 45. You're doing good. I can already see the progress.
Good.
Okay, I know it started out a little dicey,
Yeah.
but you got it. Forward. There you go. Relax that arm. Turn, tap, forward. Yeah, keep that as smooth as possible. That transition from turn to forward.
Yeah.
Keep it going, okay? Slow turn, forward, tap, good. Keep forward, you got it, good job, good job. Slow, turn, tap forward, good. Now slow walk here. Keep slow, keep slow. Keep slow and stop. Good. All right. So, can you see the difference now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I wouldn't do this setup normally, just so you know. Okay. So, this exercise is based on giving the dog lots of slack to make lots of mistakes.
Okay.
We took up slack here because of the sake of, you saw in the beginning when she kept going back. Last thing I wanted was that collar going over her head.
Okay.
So I had to plan ahead.
Sure.
So we limited our leash to half. So when you would turn, ideally the dog would keep going and she'd be 4 to 5 feet away
Okay.
before she starts coming to you. But here she's only 2 feet away.
Right.
Right? So that's why it's very important that you're relaxed. Because if you're bringing her in with the tension, you're doing the work, not the remote. The remote is what makes her mentally think, what do I need to do to resolve this problem, right? To resolve this discomfort.
Yeah.
But if you drag her to the spot, she's not going to connect that,
Yeah.
okay? And then it's this constant tension on the leash. We're trying to resolve that as much as possible, okay? So in the beginning, we were like at 35, and now we're at what now?
45.
45, right? So we went up 10 levels. And can you see the difference between earlier at that lower number to the 45 they're at now?
Yeah.
Right? You're able to now cover a lot more ground. Right? Before you were turn like the
Yeah.
place of a car.
Yeah.
But now you're going like 10 cars back and forth, right?
Yeah.
Here, on this last bit, I said walk slow. And I go slow, then slow, and you can still see where she wanted to, but then you came to a stop and I saw you like smile because I think you recognized,
Yeah.
hey, she stopped with me, right? So we're not 100% yet, right?
Right.
But we're much better than where we were about 15, 20 minutes ago,
Right.
okay? It's all about the pressure, okay? So when I grabbed her by the collar,
Yes.
the reason why she started bucking around is just too much in her personal space. And then when she starts to move back, because I had her on the collar and she doesn't have a flight response, fight kicks in.
Right.
So she got a little mouthy,
Yeah.
but she wasn't being aggressive. She's like, I need you to let me go, so I'm gonna try to scare you away, right? So I
Okay.
just let her right out.
Okay.
And she just learned, all right, well, Jesse's not thinking
Jesse's
about
not
that
afraid
stuff.
of me.
Exactly.
Okay.
So then, I fixed everything like we needed to, and then we find that number, but now I already know when she goes under stress, her instinct is flight.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so we have to plan for that. So this is going to help teach her that flight isn't the response that she wants. She wants to either avoid it or just accept it. Okay, and obviously not fight it, but
Yeah.
But that's what we're getting to with this. So in the beginning with the remote, you saw how like she started to yip a little bit and even shriek, like, right?
Yeah.
It was the fear. It was
Okay.
the stress. Okay, because we're actually back to the same number that we were at earlier
Right.
that made her do that, but now she's not doing it, the yipping, right?
Okay,
Because
yeah.
now the stress levels have dipped, and now she's perceiving this as a communicator and not some foreign thing.
Not so. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
which
Yeah,
is why
because she is such a high anxiety dog.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why we have to ride through that stuff. Most
Right.
people, or even a lot of trainers, go like, oh, don't push the dog past threshold, which causes all these other things. But I go, if you never do that, the dog, you never fix the issue.
Right.
Right? How's the dog supposed to learn to not do that if it's always an option?
Right.
Right? When we work her through it, and she's going, get me away from this, and it keeps going until she does
Tracks.
she's being counterintuitive, right? She's going, I don't want to go that way because of this thing, I want to go this way. But this will override her and make her decide that, all right, if I can't get away, what happens if I just go with
I
it?
just go.
It stops.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, right?
We are. Yeah.
Exactly. And we keep repeating, and you went little by little
Yeah.
from small chunks to this much bigger chunk, right? And it's all it is just that simple turning around exercise, but making sure we have the appropriate number because you have to override her stress levels. Okay? Her stress response is run away. You have to override that. You don't want to run for this. You want to move
Right.
into this, right?
Right.
And that's how we start to build confidence. Because all that stuff is her saying, I can't handle this.
Right.
Right? And it's like people do the same thing too. Right? If someone's stressed out, they might leave the situation or they might avoid it. Like, oh yeah, I got this big bill, but I'm going to just pretend that's not there. And then there's also confrontation. So fight, flight, avoidance, submission. Those are the 4 responses that all animals have. Okay? And we're just working her through all those things so that when she goes, oh, it's actually not so bad, I can do this, that's where confidence starts to come from.
Right.
Okay? Does this all make sense now?
Absolutely.
And now you can see why physicality is so important when we're training dogs. Like, you're not going to fix this with treats.
No.
Like, she's too freaked out,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I tell people, like, if you're in a burning building, you're not trying to grab a brownie on the way out. Like, you're just, how do I get out of the burning building, right?
Yeah.
So here, it's the same thing for her. I'm not opposed to food as later on, if I like to reward things. It's great for reinforcement, but it's not great for pushing dogs through, exactly, stressful situations,
Yeah.
okay? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go from 45, we're gonna go down to 35, okay? So during this time frame, she's literally processing everything that just happened within the last 5-10 minutes, okay? So we go down lower in anticipation that she might be a bit more sensitive to the collar, because now she's perceptive of it.
Okay.
She's like, wait a minute, like that whole time we were walking, this thing kept like kicking in and kicking out, right? Why? So she's thinking about that, and she's like, oh, so now she knows or is aware of this box. So we go down lower, because if we start at 45, it's possible that she's too sensitive now,
Okay.
that we go back and
But
we're
she's
creating
in
those bigger reactions, correct. And as you work with her more, you'll end up coming up with a range.
Okay.
Most dogs are between, I want to say 15 to 35.
Okay.
Hers might be higher because she's got that flighty, kind of
Yeah.
nervous, anxious behavior, right? It doesn't matter about personality, size of dog, behavioral issues or anything like that. Every dog is different. So when you work with her every day, you'll start to realize, oh yeah, for the most part, 40's her number. But then if there's a lot going on, it's 65.
Right.
Like you can already start
Yeah.
associating those things.
There's
and
a
then,
kid doing cartwheels next to us. That's a 65.
yeah, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then possibly over time, as you expose her to more stressors, those numbers go down.
Right.
Because now she's building more confidence and she's like, oh, I don't need to be like all over the place when it comes to like cartwheeling and
Yeah, lately she's
skateboarders.
been barking at kids.
Yeah, so
She went from cowering away from them to approaching them and barking at them.
Yes,
like
because-
overnight, because she's building confidence, but in the wrong way. Like, why is she all of a sudden doing that?
so the first response was avoidance.
Yeah.
Right? But then as as you said, confidence, but it's like a false confidence.
Right.
Is how I term
Right.
it. And now she's like, well, what happens if I try to confront it, right? And if the kids go, oh, right?
And that's exactly what most of the dogs are going to do.
Yes. So
Yeah.
then she gets more confidence, but again, it's not real.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I'm not too worried about.
Okay, good.
All this, because what we're doing here is we're settling the nerves. So what she may end up going back to is the kind of avoidance type behavior. And I have exercises for socializing dogs with kids and stuff
Okay,
that we
great.
can go over. It's very
Yeah.
simple.
She's
Now,
meeting my cousin's kids this weekend, so.
okay.
It'll be good because their dog kids, their last dog was a yippy little thing, so like I think they'll be good with her. But you know, we've been working with my neighbor's kid.
Okay.
But that's one kid, and now she knows that
Right.
kid, so it's like.
Yeah, so dogs don't generalize after one experience.
Right.
It has to be several.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back to 35, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna do the same exact thing. We're each just gonna be going back and forth.
Okay.
The goal here is to keep Luna at that side as much as possible.
Yep.
Now, before you stop, I had you do something in terms of speed. What was that?
Slow.
Yes. You drive, obviously, right?
Yep.
What do you do before you stop?
You brake,
Which is,
slowing, momentum,
yeah. What do you do before you turn?
slow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
To let your drivers know, your other drivers know, like, hey, I'm changing, right?
Right.
Because if you just stop abruptly, you might get a collision.
Sure.
And if you just switch lanes without slowing down and like pumping your brakes and putting the blinker,
Right.
you're gonna crash into someone, right? It's the same thing with walking your dog. You have to communicate because you know when you're gonna stop and turn. She does it.
Yes.
So the
Okay.
slowing down allows you to see, are you paying attention?
Okay.
She was paying attention here.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah, she stopped.
She slowed down. She
Yeah.
stopped with you, right? So that's why we did that first before that stop happened.
So
Right?
now we're gonna walk, slow, turn.
Yes. So when you heard me say slow turn, it was to see if she was going to turn with you.
Okay.
So if I say forward, it just means pick it up again. If I say slow turn, I'm saying let's see if
Take
she'll
like
turn
one or
with
two
you.
more steps and then turn.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then if it's like if she turns with you, you don't do anything.
Okay.
So that's how she's starting to understand. Like, oh,
Okay.
if I
Right.
walk with mom and I'm on that hip, we're golden. Like nothing happens, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you're going to stop, you would slow down. Anytime you turn, you're going to slow down. Now, if Luna's already ahead of you forging, you don't worry about slowing. She's not paying attention already. Turn.
Just turning and
Start
tapping.
remoting.
Okay.
Correct, right? So if you slow to a stop, or you're slowing to a stop, and Luna keeps going, she's not paying attention, you would again turn and tap.
This might not matter as much, but if she's a foot in front of me right now, do I tap before I start to turn?
Always turn, then tap, or simultaneously.
Okay.
Some dogs later on will learn to play a game where the owner will turn and they'll turn immediately, even though they're forging ahead, so they're really sharp on it.
Okay.
So they're beating the punch. So technically,
That's
they
what we're
shouldn't be
looking.
remoted, right?
Okay.
So then I
right.
have to flip it, and I'll tell the owner to remote first, then
Then
turn.
tap. Okay,
to
but
be-
for now, turn then tap.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So I will go back to my spot. And whenever you're ready, go ahead. Turn, tap, forward. Turn, tap, forward. Keep forward. Now turn, tap, forward. You got it. There you go. Keep forward, keep forward. Keep forward. Turn, tap, tap. Let's go to 38. She's already doing better than she was earlier.
Yeah, I might have given her 2 extra taps.
It's okay. Tap forward, one for good luck. Tap forward, forward, pull to your left, tap, 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 forward. There you go. Relax that arm. Back on the sidewalk. Good. Go ahead and turn. Tap. Good. Much better. Keep forward, keep forward, keep forward, keep forward. There you go. Good job. Keep forward. Pull to your left. Tap, 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 tap. Keep pulling. Tap, tap, tap. There she is. Good. Turn. Tap, tap, tap. Pull to your left. Tap, tap. There she is. Good. 41. Tap. Turn. Tap. Forward. Tap. Turn. Tap. Good. Keep forward. Keep forward. Keep forward. Good. Turn. Tap. Keep forward. Keep forward. Keep forward. Keep forward. Turn. Tap. There you go. You got it. You're okay. Go and slow down. To your right, forward, tap. tap, forward, tap, pull to your left, tap, tap. Good, good. Turn, tap. Good. Turn, tap, tap, forward, good. Turn, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap. You got it. Turn, tap. Let's go to 45 again. Yeah, go ahead and unravel that a bit.
For the sake of my thumb.
There you go. Tap, turn, you got it, good job. Turn, tap, good job. Turn, tap, forward, pull left, tap, good job. Tap forward, good. Tap forward. Tap forward. Turn to your right, tap. Turn, tap, tap, keep forward, you got it.
There's two different ones.
Turn to your right, tap.
I was looking there's yeah.
Kids and scooters. Tap, turn, you got it. Right, keep forward, you got it. Relax that arm, you got it, good job. Turn, tap, forward, good. Turn, tap, forward, good. Now I'm going to tell you right now that what you're doing is not easy. Turn, tap, okay? And I'll explain why. Up, pooping. We'll move her away from there so she's not sitting in the pee, and then we'll review what just happened there, okay? Go ahead and come to a stop. Okay, here, when those kids came by, was it 4 kids on the scooters, and then there was like a runner, and then there was like something else. In that moment, did you see how flighty she got? And I said, what you're doing right now is not easy, okay? Because she's at peak stress level, okay? So one, when it comes to training, that's why I like the verbal coaching now.
Okay.
Well, yeah, stuff, but verbal coaching is because I already know how to do that.
Okay. Right.
That doesn't help you. Yes. You're the one that's gonna be with her on the lakefront, on trails, you know, at the park and stuff like that, that if something happens, most people stop.
Right.
Right? Because that's everybody's first instinct is stop, and that reinforces the dog.
Right.
Right? Because she thinks I went into flight response or this and that, and mom stopped, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Right.
And we're trying to push her through everything.
Yeah.
Okay? So everything you were doing was correct. Okay? She was super flighty, so her speed picked up. That's why you were turn.
Yeah.
But all that stuff was happening at once, and then she became overwhelmed because that's a stressor and that's a stressor.
Okay.
And then she goes and empties herself, okay? It's not uncommon, it's rare, but it's not uncommon for this personality type that I see this. I'm actually surprised that when I had her by the collar, that she didn't poop there.
Okay.
If she had to poop.
Yeah.
Okay, because since they cannot escape the physical confrontation, they're like, right, and they let it go. Humans do the same thing too. You know, if they're getting mugged or they're being held up or something, they'll pee their pants or something, right? It's a response.
Sure.
So it looks bad. It's part of the process. Okay. If it didn't happen today, it would have happened at some point in the future.
Right.
Okay. You kept moving, which is great, and then I go, okay, well she's pooping now. We're not going to keep. We get to let that happen, right? Yeah. That's done, and then we keep moving forward. Okay. So don't ever feel bad. I know it sucks. Yeah. Okay. Trust me, I get it.
Maybe.
However, personality-wise or confidence-wise, it doesn't help her grow.
Right.
Right? As humans, we grow through going out our comfort zones, and I'm sure like personal trainers will talk about going out your comfort zone, and like even like motivational speakers talk about going out your comfort zone. Same thing for the dog, but the way they're going about it is different. We have to make her make the decision to go out the comfort zone, whereas a human could just make the decision to go out the comfort zone. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we're going to go down again. We're not going to go down to 35. We're going to go down to 40.
Okay.
Because we ended up going back to 45 again, right?
Yes. We were 45, yes.
Yeah. And we're going to try that process again, okay? And then we'll take it from there, okay? Questions?
No, I just need to not coddle her when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, it's tough.
She's my baby. Oh, Jessie, look how pretty she is.
Whenever you're ready. Turn. Good. Turn again. Tap. You're okay.
You're fine.
Try it. Slow turn. Forward. Good.
I did no tapping that time.
Yeah, that was fine. Hug to the right a little bit so she can have sidewalk. There you go. Right. Yep. Tap forward. You got it. That was good. That was good. Relax that arm. Slow turn. Yep. You got it.
Just gave her one.
Yep. Now slow walk here. Keep walking though. Keep walking. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Slow turn. There you go. There you go. Much better. Much better. Keep forward. Tap forward. There you go. Turn. Tap. Good. Good. Slow turn. There you go. Yep, forward. You got it. You got it. Good. Yeah, just keep straight. You got it. Good. Slow turn. Yep. Now slow walk here. Keep forward, keep forward, keep forward. Slower. Slower. Stop. Okay, so we're like 60% right now.
Okay.
Okay, but we're much better than we were before.
There's no one here right now.
There's no one here, right?
Yeah.
But she also did a lot better after that big instance.
Right.
It was, you could see the difference from when her stress levels were up to when her stress levels dipped, right? So it's learning to become sensitive to that stuff. So like if I already know a dog, I have a dog that is flighty with bikes and skateboarders. If I'm working with the dog, whenever I know that a bike or skateboarder is coming, I'm already preemptively planning.
Right.
So I could be a step ahead for when it happens. Ideally, I can resolve it as it's happening and continue making progress.
Right.
You're learning all these things, okay? This exercise is super simple, but again, is the baseline for everything that we're gonna be doing. Ideally, what we want is earlier when you did the first stop, her right shoulder was more almost next to your left, her right shoulder was almost right next to your left leg.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect visual. So take one small step forward, like that. Okay, so that's where she's supposed to be. So when you come to those stops, it should look like that. So we don't go by most, this command is heel, but we're not saying anything yet because we're teaching the behavior, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to the word, but that won't be till next week. Heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So she should be kind of like your shadow, okay? As long as your communication is correct, which is why I was saying that slowing down before stopping and slowing down before turning
Make
is
sure
important.
Your body language matches your intention.
Correct, right? Now, because we're not working with your standard stable dog, we have a nervous, anxious dog. You're gonna have a little bit more work than most people would, okay? Because you have to teach her to settle and override her fear to pay more attention to you, okay? And it's literally that simple of an exercise. The hardest part is finding what the correct power is gonna be and working her within these stressful situations, okay? Because then the other thing is if you're turning and the person's behind you, you're like walking into people, right? So then you have to be much more mindful about what's going on. If you're turning and it's seemingly not getting better within that moment, then I escalate the number, right? So if we're at 45 earlier and it wasn't really resolving anything, then I go to 50, 53-ish, okay? And then what you might get in that moment is if it happens again, is yipping, okay? It may not mean that you're too high, okay? Because you have to remember stress levels.
Right, because she's been yipping, so yipping is stress.
Yes, right?
Okay.
Yipping can be discomfort. Yipping can also be like, this is too much, okay? Because remember, scooters, skateboarders, whatever, plus e-collar, right? So that's two stressors going on at once. So you have to override her so that ideally, if we repeated that context, she'd still be right at your side and wouldn't have been so much craziness. Okay? Now, we would build to that, obviously, but here, because this is life, and this is what life is throwing us at the moment, I chose to come here because I thought this would be quieter.
Okay, yeah.
That's usually busier.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But we didn't get that, but I just work with it. Okay? So now you've had a little bit of everything. When it's nice and quiet, you saw the difference in how well she could walk with you. And then when it got really hectic, then you saw how neurotic she can also get, right? Your baseline behavior when that happens is always 180 to the immediate right. Okay? To redirect her. And we're gonna see how much can this fix, okay? If we see like she's still spooky with like skateboarders or bikes and stuff like that, then I do something more along the lines of stepping aside and like having her sit there, not like off leash, but away from you as things are happening, and you'll see the dog want to move from it, and you make them stay stationary. Okay, but that probably won't get to about to maybe class 3 or 4. Seeing how well she does with this. Okay, the more you expose her to this, the more she should settle. Okay, and you might find like, hey Jesse, everything is easy peasy, but kids on scooters, and I go, okay, that's her kryptonite.
Yep.
Now we know what we need to work with. Okay, any questions so far about any of this stuff?
Let me ask you about walking her on my own.
Yeah.
This homework before next Monday. Should
Yeah.
I still be using the harness, or should
No.
I just only use her other collar?
I would get a flat buckle collar.
She's got a buckle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you want to size it so that it cannot slip over her head, of course. And the harness will promote the pulling.
Okay.
It's going to make things worse, okay? Because when she goes into flight response and you pull back on that harness, it's going to intensify that flight response. And now you're going to have conflicting messages because e-collar is saying don't run and harness is saying run.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's why I always just do flat buckle with the standard e-collar. The only time I'll ever do a harness if it's like a tiny little Yorkie or something, because we don't want their throat, you know?
Yeah.
But after they're trained, it doesn't matter what the owner walks them on because there's no more tension.
Right.
Okay? But yeah, it's super simple, flat buckle collar. You never want to clip your leash to the e-collar because it'll inhibit contact.
Yep.
Okay? Other questions?
Nope.
Let's try, we'll go ahead and take the loop off.
Okay.
So that's great because I just also
It should just slip over her head, yep. And we're gonna see how she does. We're gonna give ourselves a bit more slack here, okay? There you go. And you can just pull it through and it should come undone. Yeah, there you go. So if you ever, if the clip breaks or something like that and you need to make a leash, I just do that.
Just to loop it around.
I just feed it through and it makes a little loop there. There we go. And you're gonna take the handle of your leash and put it over your right thumb. And then what you're gonna do with the rest, I'll show you here. So what you're gonna do, where's that? That's spaghetti. There. All right. So, like this, right? You're gonna take up leash, wrap it around your pointer finger, and you're gonna just close your hand. Okay, so that's a double lock system, how I put it, right? So when you take up the excess slack, go ahead and take it up until the loop is by, so go like this again. Yep. And then right there, exactly, now close your hand and then relax. So if you look at the bottom of the leash there, you see how it makes like a little J shape?
Yeah.
And that bottom of that J is like right by her armpit. That's about the perfect length.
Okay.
Okay. When you keep it at that height, it prevents the Luna from stepping over the leash and getting it all tangled up in her legs.
Okay.
Okay. So anytime you want to give her slack to make mistake, I would do
That's
this
a
much.
good amount of slack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you give any more than that, it's going to keep getting tangled up, and you're going to spend more time fidgeting with the leash, right? And with this, if she has a flighty moment, again, she should not pull the leash out your hand because now you not only do you have one, but you have a double lock system there, and she'll be super secure. Okay, so we're gonna try the same thing now, but now she's got a little bit more length that she can get away from you from. We're gonna see if we can use that to her advantage.
Okay.
If she pulls to your right, you might have to give quite a bit more pressure because now you've given some more slack. Okay, and you can always, if that happens, if she goes from behind to your right, what I'll do is with my right hand, hand some leash over so I don't have to be like
Okay.
this, right? I can be right there and have more immediate contact.
Sure.
The closer you hold the leash, the closer you're holding the leash to the collar, the more immediate physical leverage you're gonna have. Okay? Questions?
Nope.
All right, ready. Whenever you're ready. Good, slow turn. Yep, forward. You got it. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Tap forward, good. Go ahead and slow down. Slow turn. Forward. Tap. There she goes. Pull to your left. Tap. Tap. Yeah, there you go. Turn again. Tap. Forward. There you go. There you go. Good slow turn. Good turn. Forward. There you go. Keep forward. We'll let this pass. Then turn. Good. You got it. Good. Slow turn. Tap forward. You got it. Go ahead and speed up a little. Yep. Good job. Turn. Tap. Tap forward. You got it. Turn again. Tap forward. Good. Slow walk there. Yep, keep going forward though. Keep going forward. Good. Slower. Tap forward. Tap forward. You got it. Keep forward. Good. You got it. Good. Slow turn. Tap forward. Right, right, good. Go and slow walk. There you go. Then stop right there. Good, right? So we're like 65, 70 now, okay? I can already see some improvements though. So remember, what's your reference point in terms of where she should be to you?
Hip.
Exactly, right shoulder to your left leg. So now what I want you to do is I'm gonna start coaching you less.
Okay.
Is whenever that right shoulder is not lined up with your left leg, just pivot off and remote, okay? When you do those sharp turns, keep the momentum, okay? The only time we really might stop or slow down is when she looks like she's paying attention, to give her the opportunity to,
Do it. Okay.
right? But if she's not, you can just go into that turn and remote to get her to stick to you. There was a couple of moments where you can see her kind of getting unsure and you tapped and you guided and she came back to position, so that was good. Okay, she's starting to associate that remote means left leg, okay? And whenever you are ready.
And I can't pull the leash, right? Just the remote?
Only if she's going to the wrong side. Good turn. Right. Yep. Yep. You got it. You got it. Good job. Very good. You got it. Good. Try coming to a stop. Oh, it's better. Look at that. Okay, that's fine. Good. Go ahead and move again.
They're like the wrong size for stairs. And since we have so many stairs, they don't know.
Right. Good turn. Good turn. Look at that. Good. Yep, good job. And try coming to a stop right here. Much better. Very good, right? So now that's like 70-80%, okay? So your homework for this week is just this exercise, okay? Dogs learn better in smaller chunks. So if you did like 4 15-minute or 3 20-minute walks,
Okay.
that'd be ideal.
Perfect.
If all you have one day is a solid hour, you can do a solid hour, it's fine. You're only turning around when she's not in position.
Okay.
Okay, so you just continue walking, right? But the moment she goes, you would turn tap, and then if you want to keep going that way, you just turn again to go back in that direction, okay? Expect, like let's say you walk away from home and you're gonna return back home. Expect on the return home, she's gonna be like freeze,
Pulling,
right? Because stress levels are up, and she's thinking, hey, I know we're going back home, let's go, right?
Right.
So I use that to my advantage, because now I know the dog's overwhelmed with stress, and they're wanting to just get out of there. But it's the same deal. If you walk away from home and she's here, when you walk to home, she has to be here as well, okay? So if you notice that, but let's say you're tight on time, you don't have the time to go back and forth until you get home, simply stop, wait a moment, you're gonna say the word break. Break means the job is done. She can pull you home, okay? It won't have any impact on your training at all, because you made a very definitive, now we're done, okay? And then you just let this happen. But then the next time I know, oh, she really wanted to pull home, so then I might only leave 10 minutes away from home and give myself 20 minutes to come back, right? So I give myself double the amount of time. Now when you're making your way back home, if it's turn, no progress, then we need to bump that number, okay? I use my 3 correction rule. So when we were finding the perception number, it was really mainly 3 taps, no response, bump it. 3 taps for no response, bump it, okay? Same thing with the corrections. If I do a turn and tap, turn and tap, turn and tap, and no improvement, I bump it. Turn and tap, turn and tap, turn and tap, bump it, right? Then maybe I go to 65, and then I go turn and tap, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's on my leg, and I can keep going straight for a period of time.
Right.
That's how you can tell when she's making progress, because in the beginning, it was turn, right? And then now it's
Now it's I'm
very
just choosing when to
gradual.
turn. Yeah.
Exactly, now it's very gradual. So that's how you can tell we made progress, okay? It all comes down to the power. If she starts yipping and you went from 60 to 65, try 63. You'd be surprised. That's why we use this specific brand and tool.
You were saying that because it has more options.
Correct. So like other e-collars are cheaper and they go to like 5. So 127 and 5 are the same. But this has 122 more divisions. Exactly.
Right.
So you can really fine tune it. So I've had it happen where we will literally just adjust the 2 levels and the dog will be perfect on that in-between number. And that's what you're trying to figure out, okay? You're gonna make mistakes. Don't try to get things done perfectly, it's not gonna happen, right? I make mistakes all the time, but the thing is now I know how to recover from it. And I can, for the most part, avoid them, okay? But if you're too worked up about being too high in the collar, psychologically, emotionally, and physically hurting her, making mistakes or anything like that, you're not gonna make much progress, okay? So that's why we always do low to high, okay? Because it makes it much less likely that that would happen,
Right.
okay? In terms of structuring the walk now, what I would do is come out, start off with a potty break, let her empty herself, get that out the way, and then do your walk, okay? The moment you've triggered or started this exercise, everything that we've taught today goes into effect, okay? So you're teaching her to be mindful of you and to override her discomforts, okay? but then it's your job to reinforce all that stuff. Okay, so if she's forging ahead of you, you know, and you're like, oh, she's not learning, well, it's because you're not making her learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think here. The slowing down, very important for stopping and turning.
Give her the opportunity.
Correct, right?
Okay.
So if you're going to come to a stop sign or stoplight,
Right.
very common that people will slow down,
Yeah.
and then they'll stop and the dog will keep going and they'll just tug the dog back because it's a red light, right? So it's like, oh, what's the big deal? I'm like, the obedience is. If you let that happen, that's a gray area. Now every time you stop, she's going to forge ahead.
Right.
So if I come to a stop at a red light and she keeps going, I turn, tap,
Turn tap.
and then
Right.
turn again to come back to the red
Red
light.
light, okay.
Okay. So it's that simple. If you find yourself making 100 turns every day, you're too low. Okay. It's the how do you say? Once you've taught the concept, dogs learn these things very quickly. It's just a matter of finding the appropriate power for whatever the context is. Okay. Questions?
No, I can't use any praise.
Oh yeah, you can say good.
Good, like
Yeah, I would keep it monotone though. Like I would be like, good girl, yeah, right? Because you're trying to get her to calm down and focus.
Okay.
And if you're putting in energy, now you're going against yourself, right?
Sure, that makes
So
sense.
I'm perfectly fine. Like let's say you come to stop and you're like, girl,
Right.
right?
Okay.
I remove it because this is already a lot for a lot of people to think about as it is.
Right.
And whether or not you apply positive or not has never, in my opinion, had a
Doesn't matter.
super
This
strong
is what
effect.
matters.
Exactly. Okay. But if you feel like, hey, this is pretty easy and I got it, by all means, you can say, good girl, little
Right.
pat. But if it's something where you're in motion, just keep that motion, good girl, and
Right.
then you keep going.
Okay.
When you put the collar on her, either always upbeat or neutral.
Yep.
Don't think like, oh, it's training time, right? Because she's gonna go, if you don't like it, well
Right.
then I don't like
I don't
it.
like it.
Okay.
Yep.
Ideally, if you can, put it on 15 minutes prior. Do your walk, do your training, come
Okay.
back, leave it on 15 minutes after,
After.
and then remove it.
Yep.
So it doesn't get tied to collar discipline.
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
You can also pop it on her randomly throughout the day,
Throughout
not
the
do
day
anything.
and not do anything at all. And just have it
Whatever.
on while I'm working.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if you see her scuttle away from the the collar and stuff because she's gonna learn to recognize it. Again, you don't call her if she starts running from it. I just go, chase the dog down, leash him up,
Okay.
just go for a walk, right? So then she's like, all right, well I tried that didn't work.
Right.
If you want to try to help create a positive association, you can use food. Turkey, sausage, pepperoni, cheese sticks, whatever, the good stuff.
Sure.
You bring it out, you give her a treat, you put it on, give her a treat, grab it, give her a treat, take it off, give her a treat, right?
Okay,
Every single
right.
time, right?
Yep.
And sometimes you can even just pop it out and show it to her and just give her a treat.
Right.
My dogs love the collar
Okay.
because they know it means off-leash freedom or going for a walk,
Right.
all that stuff.
Fun stuff.
But for you, at this stage, because it's the not-so-fun stage, you're probably going to see things like that, okay?
Right.
We have another client who has a nervous puppy, 6 months, black lab puppy, and they're like, she was looking kind of timid and stuff, and
Yeah.
they felt bad. And then they ran into a guy at the dog park who trained his dog on the e-collar.
Right.
And they saw the dog come to him, and then they would say,
Yeah.
he would say break, and the dog was running, was happy. They're like, oh, it was really nice to see that this isn't forever.
Right.
I'm like, no, it's discipline. Like nobody
Right.
likes discipline. The more you use it, the faster the dog gets over it.
Yep.
Don't use it sparingly. Very, very generous with the tapping, because that's what toughens her up,
Yes.
and that's what gets her used to it. Okay. And then once you hit a certain point, you'll see she'll kind of open up to it, and then she sees the remote, she comes running for it,
Yep.
and then you're all good. Okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm gonna bring it with me to Indiana this weekend.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Don't use it for anything we've not covered.
Okay.
Okay, don't say Luna come and try to
And
use
try
it,
to just
because we have to teach
only the
skills.
heel.
Only the heel.
Only heel. Okay. But that's good. I mean, it's more of a rural road on this lake, but I'd rather just work on it when we go out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
the more you expose her to stuff, because
Yeah.
it gets tied to the situation, right?
Sure.
So if it's like, hey, we're in Indiana and we're going for a walk, and there's going to be breaks of walking to breaks of running around and being
Sure.
free, that's part of the association.
But yeah, so it's like a lake and then a golf course. Can I let her off leash in the golf course to run with me and
Yeah,
play?
yeah, for worried
but
about
then
her.
would you recommend just keeping the collar on, but then going back to the street and working on her heel?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can have it on her. She can be off leash. She can do all that stuff as long as you know like she's
Right.
okay. Just
Yeah,
don't
she's-
use it. Like let's say she starts to run off and you're like, no, Luna, come. Don't use it
Don't
for
use it
that.
for that.
Okay?
Okay.
Only use it for the leash walking stuff. Okay.
Yep.
And then in terms of like the word, we're not using the word right now. What makes Luna understand that she's in that healing exercise is the tap. Okay, so as soon as you start walking, you turn and tap, cool. She knows, oh, this is like, Monday with Jesse.
Right.
And it's gonna click, and then it's your job to just keep her in line as much as
Okay.
possible.
Yep. I won't be there until maybe next week, but I do take her to Lakewood Dog Park in Wakanda. and it's an off-leash dog park and it's like 60 acres or whatever, would you recommend ever doing heel there
Yeah, everywhere.
when she's already off-leash? Because then other dogs...
Not off-leash, always
Well, I
on
mean,
leash.
I would have her
Yeah.
on, but no one else is on. Like, is that going to ruin it? Does she need a sidewalk? Like, just keep doing it everywhere.
The sidewalk is best in the beginning for owner and the dog for visual.
Okay.
Once you got it down, it doesn't matter. Like you can walk your dog off, in the heel through anything.
Right.
It's beneficial to practice because let's say she's very comfortable there and she wants to play with the dogs, but now it's like I didn't give you permission to.
Right. I said.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
obedience is meant to be functional no matter what the context is.
Right.
I don't care if you're in the middle of the dog park. I don't care if you're at a lake house and there's
Right. Yeah.
geese and deer and whatever all over the place. Like if I put a command on the dog is doing that command until
Okay.
released. Right?
It's not too soon to force her into those situations.
No,
Okay,
no, no.
awesome.
If you're working with her and maybe you're overwhelmed and you're like, holy shit, this is complicated. I'm about challenging, so I'm
Yeah.
like, try to push through it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, it's just not getting better, then stop, remove yourself from the situation,
Right.
rest,
Yeah.
and then reset and try it again. Okay?
I think I'll
So, other than that, don't worry about pushing her too far, like that you're gonna again screw her up psychologically. It's not gonna happen. Okay. If anything, you screw the dog up when they give that response of like, oh, and then you're like, okay,
okay, break time. Yeah,
and then you
okay.
stop, right?
Yeah.
If you find yourself, it might happen where you're in a context where it's like, holy crap, like she's so stressed out. We try to address it, but it's not working. One time is not gonna hurt you.
Okay.
It's practice day by day, every day. She gets scared, I don't do anything. That's what makes it the problem. Okay? Other questions?
No. She's pretty good. I mean, she's good. I want her to be great.
Yeah, no, nothing out the ordinary here.
Yeah. Okay.
If you ever see anything where you're like, oh man, she did really well here,
Okay.
like note that.
Right.
So that's a progress point. Okay?
She does really well at the off-leash dog park when I call her. She always comes. She's good at responding to me. But yeah, she can't bark at kids. She can't be aggressive. Like that's all the stuff that I want to nip. Like I'm starting to see minor fear-based aggression, nothing major, but like little things where you can see it.
Sure. Yeah, and then if it starts at this age,
Right.
if they're not born at 2 months with it, 6 months in the year are when things change.
That's what's changed. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has just started since our consultation. It has started to change.
Yeah, because right now, because you said she's
6 months.
6 months, yeah. So 6 months for me, in my opinion, I call it the terrible tooth brain,
Yeah.
and then teenager body, and then at a year you get teenager brain, adult body, and then at 2 years you get adult dog.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever anybody has a dog as a puppy and notes behavioral changes, it's at 6 months or a year, almost always.
Yep.
Okay, so nothing out the ordinary. You're starting at a very good point, and like I said, we do have exercises that we can show you so to help with the kids stuff and all that,
Great.
so that we can hopefully prevent all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Do you have those online, or would you recommend just waiting,
For
just
what?
seeing for the kid stuff?
Yeah, I don't have them online yet.
Okay, that's fine.
It's super simple.
Okay.
My suggestion always, I mean, for the owner, if there's ever any kind of hesitation of what might happen, is muscle training.
Okay.
Okay, it'll help because when it comes to socializing dogs, in my experience, I've had dogs that were super aggressive and they're muzzle trained, and we'll tell them like, hey, do you mind helping us socialize? I'm like, oh, no problem, right?
Okay.
And we'll tell them everything.
So it's safe.
Yes.
Right.
And I've had other dogs not even be anywhere near those kinds of dogs, and we'll say, oh, can you help us socialize? And they're looking like them.
No.
Like
Right.
it's funny, like people will pet dogs with no
Sure.
permission, but the
Yeah.
moment you ask them to pet your dog and there's no muzzle,
Yeah.
they're weird about it.
Okay.
Super
Sure.
fun. Okay. So I'll let you be the judge of that. If you
Okay.
think like just in case, there's no harm in it. Okay. It'll help you feel better. You won't feel anxious. You won't feel nervous. Like what happens if something happens, right? And then you might think, well, I've never seen it quite yet, other than like the barking stuff.
Yeah, it went from fear to approaching and barking. What I usually do when she meets new people is like if my friends come over, we hug, and then she is okay with them. Sometimes she's okay, sometimes she's not. I think she's very much based on the energy of the person. Like she barked with my friend Joanne this weekend because Joanne just has terrible dog energy.
Oh, okay.
She's scared of dogs.
Yeah.
And
Plus
Luna
you
was
saw
like,
that, sure.
Luna at one point, we were sitting in my kitchen talking, and she like barked at Joanne. I was standing right there.
Sure.
She was just like, "Why are you still in my house?" Woof. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
And as we progress, I'll educate you on how we approach those things. Because weak energy targets weak energy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. She knew Joanne. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's partially controlling the dog so that your friend feels safe. Like, oh,
Right.
like wow, your dog won't move for 3 hours. That's amazing, right? And then the other part of it is since they're more confident because they can see your control, the dog is now not suspicious because they're like, oh, you're relaxed now, right? So it gets pretty kind of nuanced, but it makes sense once you understand.
To introduce her to my cousin's children, is it okay if I have my mom take the lead? She likes my mom, and have me go up and hug the kids and hold the kids while she watches from a distance? Like, is that okay? That's what I was thinking of doing.
Really in the beginning, I always just push for coexistence.
Okay.
Which is she's just on a leash, whether your mom's holding her or not. What you could do is you could have the e-collar on her.
Right.
Your mom's holding the leash. Maybe the kids come over. If she barks at the kids, you can use that in that context to correct her because she's on the leash. Yes.
Only on the leash. Okay.
Right, because the concern is it's early on that if you remote her to correct her, she'll run away.
Correct.
But if someone's holding her, the
right.
tap is
if
simply
I'm in the
saying,
living room and whatever, and I'm right here.
correct.
Yeah.
So the remote is an aversive. It's meant to stop things, but we can also use it to teach things. But it requires a bit more of a process, right? When it comes to stopping something is simply aversive when the behavior happens. And then it's a matter of finding what the number is, okay? Now, this is not going to make her not like the kids. That's people's thing. They're like, oh, they're going to think the shock is with the kids. I'm like, no, I don't think that way. She just thinks like, oh, I barked and something happened and I didn't like it, right? As long as she's quiet, she's fine. But then I would not push the kids moving into her personal space.
Right.
Because if you've now suppressed her and she's thinking, okay, crap, I can't bark at them, right, to get them to go away, and they try to encroach in her personal space, she might escalate because she's like, well, if I can't get you to leave me alone, I'm going to have to possibly use physicality to back you off.
That's great. So I just have to make sure my cousin talks to her daughter and says, you can't touch me.
Yeah.
Because I think that's probably
right.
bad.
And that helps her out because then she doesn't feel like she has to meet the kids.
Right.
It's coexistence always in the beginning. You know, it's just us, the child's over there, she's over here, 10 feet away or whatever. Child's running around. Maybe she grumbles, you remote her, you can't grumble. Kid keeps running around. She's like, all right, well, the kid can run around, but as long as I don't grumble, nothing happens. Okay? But definitely on the leash, so in case she tries to fight or anything, she's not going to get it.
That's a good idea. Right, yeah, just keep her on the leash. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. If you ever get anything and you're not sure how to approach it, like maybe the kid thing, I always encourage people can film it and they can email it to me, and I can assess it and go like, oh, okay, try this, or like, you know, just leave it alone for now. And then take it from there.
Okay. Wonderful.
Awesome. Good
right.
job.
Well, we'll see you next Monday.
Yep, next Monday. And then she did good. Nothing out the ordinary with